As with most considerations about gear, lens choice is a very personal thing, and I think you have to do what works for you. And it's not for me to sit here and say you must use a wide-angle prime lens for your street photography, although that's generally considered to be the conventional wisdom. And this video isn't all about recommending specific lenses, it's more about helping you find out what kind of lens is right for you. I've been doing this for a long time, and it's been my job for a long time. And I hope I can offer you a balanced and reasonably well-informed view about this. So in this video, we'll look at the best type of lens to use, we'll explore the pros and cons of various focal lengths, and where they fit into the street photography jigsaw. Just before we get into the meat of this, I should point out that for the sake of clarity and consistency, I'll refer to focal length in full frame terms. So if you use a crop sensor, a micro four thirds camera or medium format, you'll need to convert the figure to your own format. Okay, as I said, I've been doing this for a very long time, and what works for me for street photography, without any doubt, is a wide angle prime lens. And by prime lens, I mean a lens with a fixed focal length. But why a prime and not a more versatile zoom? Well, there are a number of reasons really, and firstly, zooming takes time. The process of zooming inevitably takes longer, and those vital seconds could make the difference between getting your shot and missing it. So you can lose the spontaneity of the moment. It's a kind of distraction, and it's a time taker. And this is all a big deal in street photography. You lose the moment, and if you lose the moment because you're faffing around with a zoom lens, it's not a good place to be. Secondly, the image quality you'll get from a prime lens is usually superior to what you get from a zoom. Not always, but usually. And this is assuming you're interested in sharpness and contrast, of course, which is often a good thing, but by no means essential for street photography. Thirdly, as primes usually have fewer elements than zooms, less glass, and they often have less electronic circuitry, they tend to be smaller, quieter, lighter, and then more durable, more reliable. There's less to go wrong. And this compactness also means that they're more discreet, and people will pay less attention to you than they would if you had a big fast zoom on the front of your camera. You'd stand out a mile. And let's not overlook the comfort and convenience factor. I can be out shooting for 12 hours or more a day, so a small light lens is always going to be a better option for me than a big heavy zoom. But before we get into what is the ideal focal length, here's a thought for you, particularly if you're newish to street photography, and this is maybe one of the best bits of advice I can give you. Don't faff around with lots of different lenses. Use only one lens for street photography and get to know that lens really well. Get to know what it sees. Understand how it describes the world. Know it well enough so that your eyes will start to see like that lens. Your brain will start to think like it. Everything will then start to feel so natural, so fluid, instinctive. And you'll get to the point that before you bring the camera up to your eye, you'll already know exactly what your image is going to look like. You'll know what is going to be included in your frame. You know what that lens sees. And that's when the magic starts to happen. It's quite liberating. So one lens only. Okay, let's assume for the time being that we're talking about prime lenses. So what focal length? Well, usually in street photography, we're interested in context. And so the background in our scene is often more important than we think, and it often contributes something useful to the frame. And remember, we do have a full frame to fill. It's not just that little bit in the middle. So a wide angle lens will allow us to take in a wider picture. And I think more importantly, it allows us to get close to the subject. And by getting in close, our images will have a much greater sense of emotion or drama or intimacy or energy than they would if you were standing across the road shooting with a long lens. My go-to lens for street photography then is more often than not a 35mm prime. This focal length gives me a perspective which isn't far from what the human eye sees. So it's a realistic perspective. And this realism is a big deal in street photography, for me at least. And street photography is all about realism and authenticity. I want to record in the camera pretty much what my eyes saw. So a 35mm lens is getting me pretty close to that. Sometimes I'll go wider, maybe 24 or 28mm, again in full frame terms. And I do have fun using something like a 24mm equivalent on the streets, because you can really get close to your subjects and fill the frame with them without pointing the camera directly at their faces. And with a 24 or 28 maybe, you get a real sense of fluidity and expansiveness. And another great benefit of using a wide lens is that it allows you to grab information from the sides of the frame, constructing layers from the sides, allowing you to bookend your subject. And this is why the little Ricoh GR3 is a great camera with its built-in 28mm lens, or 18mm in crop sensor terms. It's just such a good camera for constructing layers. So going a bit longer then, we've looked at the 35, we've looked at the 24-28. What about the 50mm, the nifty 50, or what used to be called the standard lens? And the poor old standard lens is often overlooked and underrated, but it's a great piece of kit for street photography. In the pre-digital age, these standard lenses were ubiquitous, and they were used for pretty much everything, from portraits to landscapes to street to fashion. And this versatile lens has slightly fallen out of favour, I think, but it's still used as the primary teaching tool for students of photography. So it must be doing something right. If you can only afford one lens, then it should maybe be this one. These tend to be small, sharp, contrasty, cheap. They're certainly affordable, and they often have a fast maximum aperture, f1.8 typically, or like this one, f1.4. Joel Meyerowitz actually started out with a 50mm lens, but he quickly found that this was too limiting, and he felt a bit cramped, I think. So he switched to a 35, which became his lens of choice for street photography and what he used for most of his shooting life. And if you'd like to find out more about Joel and what we can learn from him, please check out my earlier video, and I'll put a link up here for you. Henri Cartier-Bresson liked a 50mm lens, and many of the great images of his that we see were shot on a 50. He started life as a painter, and he felt that the 50mm lens was the widest lens possible that allowed him to take pictures that, quote, pictures that look like paintings without distortion. Interestingly, he wasn't an advocate of wider lenses, and of the 35mm lens, he said this: "The 35 is splendid when needed, but extremely difficult to use if you want precision in composition. There are too many elements, and something is always in the wrong place, and it's very often used by people who want to shout." Interesting perspective. Who else? Robert Frank. He was another fan of the 50mm lens, and most of the time he actually had a Nikkor 50mm 1.4, just like this one, attached to the front of his Leica. So the 50mm is a great option if you're a little nervous or reticent or unsure of yourself. You can stand a little bit further back, it's less intrusive. And it's a good choice for somebody maybe finding their feet as a street photographer. I actually quite like it, and the 50mm is something I'll often use for something like street portraits. And it's also a lens I typically use for night shooting, when I can open up the lens to f4, and the slightly longer focal length allows me to isolate detail in the frame, which I really like doing at night. So would I go any longer than 50mm? Yeah, occasionally. If I'm doing something more aesthetically based and maybe more abstract, I might use a 90mm, typically this one. And Saul Leiter often shoot shot between 90 and 150 mil, which gave him the sense of isolation and detachment he was looking for. A feeling of voyeurism, perhaps. But that was unique to him, and I wouldn't recommend going that long for mainstream street photography, which is really what we're talking about here. For me, anything much longer than a 50mm just feels a little bit unreal. So what else can we talk about? Many people ask if it's a good idea to have a lens hood. I don't have any strong opinions, but to be honest, I tend to keep one on much of the time. It gives you a little bit of protection from raindrops, maybe protects the front element a bit, but it does make your camera setup a bit kind of bigger and less covert. As for filters, I don't really think they have much of a place in street photography. Having said that, I'll generally protect the front element with a UV filter, and I might use a diffusion filter for night shooting, which would be a black mist or a pro mist filter, and you'll find this puts a lovely hazy glow round highlights, round street lamps or neon signs. It's a lovely effect. But other than that, I tend not to use filters. I wouldn't have them in my bag. Polarizers, grads, all that stuff. Not really for street photography, in my view. But to wrap up this conversation on lenses, if I could only ever shoot with one lens for the rest of my life, it would be the 35mm, my desert island lens. And this is the reason I think the Fuji X100 series has been such a big hit in street photography. Although I don't use one anymore, I think having that fixed 35mm equivalent lens, or 23mm equivalent in the Fujifilm crop sensor lingo, I just think it's a great place to be. So please don't think you need a big bag full of lenses to be a good street photographer. You don't. Stick with one lens, get to know it really well, and embrace the creative freedom that this bit of restriction gives you. So I think that's about all for today. I've got some more videos coming soon. Either the next one or the one after it will be all about Daido Moriyama. So we'll look at the man. He's being much talked about at the moment, mainly because of this major retrospective exhibition that's currently on in London. And I'm sure when it's left London early next year, it'll do a lot of touring. So we'll look at the man, his work, we'll look at the exhibition, we'll look at what we can learn from him, what we can pick up from Moriyama's street photography, and we might have a little look at the gear he uses. And I know he's a big Ricoh fan, either the modern GR3s or GR2s and the Ricoh film cameras. So stand by for that one. I hope you found this useful. Fairly quick video about lens choice. It's such an important thing to get right, and a very easy thing to get wrong. If you have any questions, I'd love to help. Please pop them in the comments box below. So thanks again for tuning in, and I hope we'll meet again soon. Bye for now.